Hello viewers, in the previous session of the course Environmental Impact Assessment for Environmental Health, you have learned about energy audit for environmental impact analysis, which is the key to a systematic approach for decision making in the area of energy management. Energy audit attempts to balance the total energy input with its use and serve to identify all the energy stream in a facility. As you have learned in the previous session, it quantifies energy uses according to its discrete function. Industrial energy audit is an effective tool in defining and pursuing comprehensive energy management program. In this session, today we will learn about energy impact analysis. To begin with, the availability of sufficient supply of affordable energy is a prerequisite for economic development, and development is necessary for achieving the standard of living to which most people in the world aspire. Energy affects all aspects of development, whether it is social, economic or environmental. It includes livelihood, access to water, agriculture productivity, health, population level, education and gender related issues. Historically, if we see, the first recorded commercial mining of coal occurred in 1750 near Richmond, Virginia. Momentarily, coal became the most preferred fuel for steam engine due to its more energy carrying capacity than corresponding quantity of biomass based fuel, whether it is firewood or charcoal. The coal was comparatively cheaper and a much cleaner fuel. The dominance of fossil fuel based power generation, whether it is coal, oil or gas, an exponential increase in population for the past decades has led to a growing demand for energy, resulting in global energy challenges associated with the rapid growth in carbon dioxide emissions. Renewable energy sources replenish themselves naturally without being depleted in the earth. They include bioenergy, hydropower, geothermal energy, solar energy, wind energy, ocean, tide and wave energy, etc. A significant climate change has become one of the greatest challenges of the 21st century. Its grave impact may still be avoided if efforts are made to transform current energy system. Renewable energy sources hold the key potential to displace greenhouse gas emission from fossil fuel based power generating and thereby mitigating climate change. The production and consumption of electricity lead to environmental impact, which must be considered in making decisions on the way in which to develop energy system and energy policy. The key to moving towards sustainable energy development, it lies in finding the balance between the environmental, economic and social goals of society and integrating them at the earlier stage of project planning, program development and policy making. The environmental consequence of energy production and use must be known in order to manage and choose energy products and services while keeping in mind the need of future generations. The world's growing energy need alongside increasing population led to the continual use of fossil fuel based energy sources, whether it is coal, oil or gas, and which have become problematic by creating several challenges as we know. For example, depletion of fossil fuel reserve, greenhouse gas emission and other environmental concern, whether it is geopolitical and military conflicts and the continual fuel price fluctuations. These problems will create unsustainable situation which will eventually result in potentially irreversible threat to human societies. Renewable energy sources can perform an important role by addressing the issues of fossil fuel depletion and global warming. Fossil fuel, nuclear resources and renewable resources are the three main sources of energy, and as we know, renewable energy resources such as solar, wind, biomass, geothermal, hydropower are utilized to reproduce energy and therefore extensively used to combat energy crisis. Renewable energy resources are considered clean energy resources and are critically important due to their environment friendly nature. With the increase in awareness of clean environment, it is believed that traditional dependence on fossil fuel has led to carbon dioxide emission, greenhouse gas, and environmental problems. Renewable technologies are substantially safer, offering a solution to many environmental and social problems associated with fossil and nuclear fuels. Reliable energy, as we know, it is essential in all economic, whether it is for heating, lighting, industrial equipment, transport, or any other purpose. Renewable energy supply reduce the emission of greenhouse gases significantly if replaced with fossil fuels. Since renewable energy supplies are obtained naturally from ongoing flows of energy in our surrounding, it should be sustainable. In spite of outstanding advantages of renewable energy sources, certain shortcomings exist, such as the discontinuity of generation due to seasonal variation, as most renewable energy resources are climate dependent. That is why its exploitation requires complex designing, planning, and control optimization method. Thus, there is a need to integrate environment more effectively into all aspects of energy planning and decision making in order to make current decision environmentally prudent, economically efficient, and socially equitable both now and for the future. In choosing a technology for electricity production today, government must balance a variety of factors such as citizen satisfaction, economic outcome, and environmental impact. These key issues must be evaluated in the selection of appropriate energy generation technologies and must all be weighed against the positive and negatives of each technology option based on individual country goals and desire, and it calls for an energy impact analysis. So, the energy impact analysis conveys about the energy consumption at global level and its associated impact to inform policy standards and decision making for better environment and society. Shortage of energy resources occurs due to the enhancement in consuming energy resources. Instead of reducing the consumption of energy resources, public officials have extended their import. This has resulted in increased dependency on the import of energy resources. Besides, researchers are also finding the substitute for energy resources. Determining the significance impacts can be one of the most difficult aspects of an impact assessment. Quantifying the magnitude of impact on scientific line is the major objective. After determining the magnitude of impact, an analyst must conclude on the importance of the impacts. While making a final decision on the project, a decision maker should consider major impacts along with alternatives. And considering the major impacts, it may be helpful for the mitigation measures and also for adjusting the characteristic of the projects. Now, I will discuss impact analysis of fossil fuel uses. India ranks 6th in the world in terms of energy demand. In energy sector such as commercial, domestic, economic, agriculture, transportation, etc., we need input of energy. Consequently, the use of energy is being slowly rising in the country. The increase in energy uses has resulted in dependency on fossil fuel such as coal, oil and gas. Formation of fossil fuel is a slower process which takes millions of years. As fossil fuel are formed from the organic material, their burning can contribute to climate change as they release carbon which goes back into the atmosphere. This changing climate causes the melting of glacier and ice caps, which raises the risk of sea level rise and submerge of continents. We all know the cases of phenomena like acid rain and oil spills. These are increasing due to the increase of fossil fuel uses in many sectors. Burning of coal such as in thermal power plants release sulfur dioxide as coal has maximum concentration of sulfur in it and this forms acid rain. Coal burning releases harmful particulate matter which leads to the formation of smoke. Particulate matter causes lungs and other diseases in human beings. Transporting fuel from the mine or well causes air pollution and lead to serious accidents and spills. Changes in weather condition may affect precipitation pattern, which may affect agriculture output and influence energy need that can create increasing economic instability. Next is impact analysis of hydroelectricity production. Hydroelectricity production is producing electricity from hydropower. A hydroelectric complex produces no direct waste and has a considerably lower output level of greenhouse gases. But building of large dam to hold water can damage the environment. Hydroelectricity production may have huge environmental impacts by changing the environment and affecting land use, homes and natural habitats in the dam area. Flooding land for construction of hydroelectric reservoir has an extreme environmental impact. Say destroy forest, wildlife habitat, agricultural land and scenic land. Loss of habitat on account is a potential threat to the flora and fauna as much land would be utilized for the dam construction. Deforestation will result in loss of plant species found in project areas. Loss in plant species mean that there would be a reduction in the avifauna since plant species are the nesting ground of a large number of species. Construction in migratory route of the animal, vibration of the machine and increased noise also result in species population loss. Acquisition of land for construction of hydroelectric dam causes change in land use and habitat destruction. The use of diesel generator to supply electricity causes emission and releases gases such as nitrogen dioxide and sulfur dioxide. A construction activity causes noise pollution which can develop high blood pressure in older people. Next, I will discuss about impact analysis of nuclear energy. Energy that holds together neutrons and protons, we called it as nuclear energy. Thus, nuclear energy produced can be used to generate electricity and is also used in various sectors such as environmental, medical and wartime. For example, atomic bomb. Electricity generation by nuclear energy reduces the amount of energy generated from fossil fuels. Less use of fossil fuels means lowering greenhouse gas emission. Management of nuclear waste is difficult. It takes many years to eliminate its radioactivity and risk. Nuclear power plant releases gaseous and liquid radiological effluent. Nuclear accident emit a certain level of radiation which harms public health and environment as a byproduct of the chemical volume control system. Water discharge from the plant is hotter than the ambient temperature of water bodies that will lead to the mortality of marine species. Coming to the impact analysis of solar uses, solar power is energy from the sun which is the vast energy source. Solar energy is considered as a vast source of energy for many years because of the vast amounts of energy that is made freely available if harnessed by modern technology. Large arrangement of solar cells are useful for powering road sign and even much larger arrangements are needed to power satellites in orbit around Earth. For photovoltaic power generation, large areas are required for central system which reduce the cultivable land. Solar panels in solar thermal plants are used to heat up water into steam that further turns the turbine for the production of electricity. Setting up solar power station require much space to capture the sun's energy in high amount. Coolant is a potential environmental pollutant produced from the coolant change. Accidental leakage of coolant system can create the fire and release of gases from vaporized coolant affects public health and safety. Next impact is impact analysis of wind energy uses. The term wind energy or wind power describes the process by which the wind is used to generate mechanical power or electricity. Further, this generated electricity can be used for particular tasks like grinding and pumping. In weather radars, wind turbines may lead to the misidentification of thunderstorms features and to the erroneous characterization of meteorological phenomena. Wind turbine may cause a scattered signal of dynamic nature which is both amplitude and frequency modulated due to rotating blades. In comparison to fossil fuel, using power plants, wind energy generation power plants have comparatively less impact on ecosystem. Wind energy does have aesthetic impact also. Distress over the noise created by the rotor blades can harm the ecology. Setting up windmill in migratory route of the birds cause killing of birds by flying into the rotors and also changes the microclimate of the region. Unlike as in case of traditional power plants, windmills do not pollute the air and there is no emission of greenhouse gases. Coming to the impact analysis of geothermal energy uses, geothermal energy is obtained naturally from the earth interior as heat energy source. The origin of the heat is linked with the internal structure of the planet and the physical process occurring there. Although heat is present in the earth crust in huge quantity, not to mention the deepest part, it is unevenly distributed, rarely concentrated and often at depths too great to be exploited mechanically. There are areas of the earth interior which are accessible by drilling and where the gradient is well above the average gradient. Heat is mined from the geothermal reservoir using wells and other means. Reservoirs that are naturally adequately hot are permeable and are called hydrothermal reservoir, while reservoirs that are satisfactorily hot but are improved with hydraulic stimulation are called enhanced geothermal system. Geothermal power plants can have impacts on both water quality and consumption. Hot water pumped from underground reservoir often contain high level of sulfur, salt and other minerals. Most geothermal facilities have closed loop water system in which extracted water is pumped directly back into the geothermal reservoir after it has been used for heat or electricity production. Next is bioenergy. Bioenergy also have environmental and social impact. The use of biological component, plant or animal source to produce energy has always been a cause of worry, especially to the general public, and as to whether its food produced are to be used to provide fuel, since there are cases of food aid needed around the world in deprived country. About 99.7% of human food is obtained from the terrestrial environment, while about 0.3 comes from the aquatic domain. Most of the suitable land for biomass production is already in use. Bioenergy have both positive and negative environmental and socio-economic effect. Like orthodox agriculture and forestry system, bioenergy can worsen soil and vegetation degradation related with the overexploitation of forest, too exhaustive crops and forest residue removal and water overuse of crops or land into bioenergy production can induce food commodity prices and food security. Next is impact analysis of biofuel uses. Biofuel is a good source of renewable energy produced using bio-based material. It is a good substitute for petroleum fuels. Ethanol from corn, wheat or sugar beet and biodiesel from oilseeds are the finest biofuels. Biofuels are produced from classical food crops that need high quality agriculture for their growth. Bioethanol used as a fuel in cars are designed only to run on pure ethanol. Biofuels make availability of more efficient combustion and cleaner emission, so reduce environmental pollution. But bio-based fuels, they produce less air pollution as they have high oxygen content. There is high emission of nitrogen oxide but less sulfur and carbon dioxide. Biofuels have less efficiency due to their lower energy content. The economic impact of using biofuel as energy sources, they includes development in agriculture sector, augmentation of rural manufacturing jobs, competitiveness at international level, and most important one is reducing the dependency on petroleum. As it is a clean fuel, it reduces the release of greenhouse gases, improve land and water use and high combustion efficiency. So, to conclude in this session of the course Environmental Impact Assessment for Environmental Health, we have learned about energy impact analysis. Energy is a requirement in our everyday life as a way of improving human development, leading to economic growth and productivity. The return to renewable will help mitigate climate change in an excellent way, but needs to be sustainable in order to ensure a sustainable future for generation to meet their energy need. Knowledge regarding the interrelationship between sustainable development and renewable energy in particular is still limited. The energy impact analysis conveys about the energy consumption at global level and its associated impact to form policy, standard and decision making for better environment in society. While making a final decision on the project, a decision maker should consider major impact along with all the alternative. Thank you.